My name is Tom from Pacific Products Corporation, home of the LeakChek Pro, the automated leak down tester. We have two models available, a pressure model which injects air pressure into the cylinder head through a spark plug hole, and a vacuum model where air is pulled from the cylinder head through a spark plug hole from across the combustion chamber, from the intake exhaust ports, or across each individual valve. Now press accept. It prompts us to put the probe into cylinder number 1, automatically starts when the seal is made, beeps and shuts off the vacuum pump when it's done. Cylinder number 2. Cylinder number 3. And cylinder number 4.
The LeakChek Pro is fast. Testing this 4-cylinder head takes only 40 to 50 seconds.
When power is turned on, the sign-on screen appears. At the bottom of the sign-on screen, we're prompted to press any key to continue. Now a self-test runs. The self-test checks the internal memory, it checks the program, it checks calibration, and it checks the circuitry. And now we're at the ready screen. The ready screen is where all testing begins. We have an extensive manual that describes the operation of the LeakChek Pro. However, the on-screen prompts tell you all you need to know. Press Start to begin a test. Enter the test ID. The test ID could be a work order number, a customer name, a customer number, a serial number, a model number, or anything of that sort. If you do not want to take the time to enter that, we simply press Done. It automatically generates a sequential number. In this case, LCP000005. The next test would be 06, 07, and so forth. We press Done to continue. The vacuum model allows us to check at several different sites. We can check across the combustion chamber or through a spark plug hole. We can check across the intake or exhaust ports, or we can check across individual valves. In our case, we're going through a spark plug hole. We'll go to the combustion chamber and press Accept. Now we're prompted to set the number of cylinders. We can increment or decrement from 8 down to 1. In our case, we have a 4-cylinder head. We'll set it at 4. Now we press Accept. It prompts us to put the probe into cylinder number 1. When the seal is made, the test starts automatically and beeps and turns the vacuum pump off when it's done. 1.3% leakage for cylinder number 1. We can accept that value or we can retest it. 1.3 is a good number. Let's accept it. Now we're prompted to go to cylinder number 2. 3.0%. Again, that's a good number. Let's accept it. Cylinder number 3. 25.5%. That's a bad number. At this point, if we wanted to, we can retest it. We can retest it as many times as we want until we're convinced we're getting the right numbers. We know that this cylinder is bad, so we'll accept it. And cylinder number 4. %. Again, it's a good number. We'll press Accept. At this point, the data from that test is stored internally in the processor. The last 25 tests that are performed are stored internally. When test number 26 is done, test number 1 is erased. When 27 comes in, number 2 is erased. So it stores the last 25 tests. Now we press print. And here's the printout. It has your name and phone number at the top. It has the test ID, that was the work order number, or in our case we used a sequential number. The day, the date, and the time. There's the 4 cylinders. Here's the leakage rate for each cylinder. The 25.5, that was the bad cylinder number 3. We can attach one of these to the work order and send it back to our customer as proof of our work. We can also press the print key again and get a second copy that we can store for our permanent records. Now we press exit, and we're back to the ready screen, ready to start the next test. If we perform the test without stopping, a typical 4-cylinder head takes less than a minute to perform the entire test and get the printout. We can also test at the combustion chamber by tilting the head up on its end, plugging the spark plug hole with a stopper, and using our vacuum plate over the combustion chamber.
In a similar manner, we can use a smaller vacuum plate. This way we can test ports. Intake port, exhaust port, intake port, exhaust port.
Testing across the ports is similar to testing across the combustion chamber. From the ready screen, we press start to begin test. We enter the test ID just as we did before. We'll accept the automatically generated sequential number by pressing done. Now that's LCP 000006. Press done. Now we want to test across the ports. We press port and then accept. For this demonstration, we'll just do 2 cylinders. We'll decrement to 2 cylinders. Press accept. We're prompted to go to cylinder 1 intake. %, cylinder 1 intake. Press accept. Cylinder 1 exhaust. %. We'll press accept. Cylinder 2 intake. %. Cylinder 2 exhaust. %. In this case, probably the probe wasn't seated properly, so let's retest. We're retesting cylinder 2 exhaust. 1.0%. Accept. It stores the data. And now we test print. Here's the printout when we test across the ports. Again, it has your name and phone number up top. It has the test ID number here, the day, the date, and the time. Cylinder 1 intake, cylinder 1 exhaust, cylinder 2 intake, cylinder 2 exhaust. And here's the results for each cylinder. If we test across the valves, the printout will be very similar. It will say cylinder 1, valve 1, cylinder 1, valve 2, cylinder 2, valve 1, cylinder 2, valve 2. And when we're testing across valves, we can set anywhere between 1 and 5 valves per cylinder.